Caught my wife cheating with our gym coach. So I set a trap and exposed everything. I never thought my marriage would end like this. You hear stories like this all the time. Some guy catches his wife cheating, sets up a trap, exposes everything. It makes for a juicy Reddit post, maybe even a viral YouTube video. But it's different when it happens to you. My name is Ethan, I'm 36, and until recently, I thought I had a solid marriage. My wife, Laura, 34, and I had been together for 11 years. No kids, but we built a life together. A nice home, stable careers, close friends, and what I thought was an unshakable bond. And for most of those years, it really was good. Then things started to change. At first, I chalked it up to life just getting in the way. Stress, work, the usual. But looking back, the signs were everywhere. I just didn't want to see them. The first clues: Laura and I always had a routine. Mornings were chaotic, both of us rushing to get to work. But evenings? Evenings were ours. We'd cook dinner together, share stories from our day, maybe watch a show before bed. Then, out of nowhere, that routine broke. She stopped waiting for me to eat. I'd get home, and she'd already have eaten or claimed she wasn't hungry. She stopped texting me during the day. We used to send little check-ins, dumb memes, inside jokes. But suddenly, I'd text, and she'd reply hours later with just a thumbs-up emoji or busy, talk later. It didn't feel like us. But the real change came with the gym. It was our thing, something that made us feel like a team. We started working out together a few years ago when I had a minor health scare. It wasn't life-threatening, but enough to make me rethink my lifestyle. Laura jumped on board, and before we knew it, the gym became a shared passion. We'd push each other, celebrate progress, and grab smoothies afterward. It was our time together. But then, one night, she came home and casually dropped. I think I focus better when I work out alone. I didn't question it at first. People change their habits, right? Maybe she just wanted some personal time. But then she started coming home later and later. Lost track of time. Tried a new workout. Stayed after to chat with some people. Something about it didn't sit right. But I told myself I was overthinking. Until I met him. The gym trainer who is always around, you know the type. Tall, muscular, always finding an excuse to be shirtless. His name was Brandon. I'd seen him at the gym before. One of those guys who's always casually lifting near the women's section. Always finding reasons to adjust someone's form. I never thought much of him, just another gym bro. But suddenly, Laura couldn't stop mentioning him. Brandon showed me a new routine today. Brandon says I'm making great progress. Brandon thinks I should try heavier weights. Brandon. One night, I decided to drop by the gym early. Laura was supposed to be finishing up. Instead, I saw them sitting on a bench, laughing together, her body leaning in just a little too close. And then I saw it, his hand on her lower back. It wasn't some professional gym trainer touch. It was different. It was too familiar. My stomach dropped. She hadn't seen me yet. I stood there for a moment, frozen, trying to process what I was looking at. Was I overreacting? Was I being insecure? No. I knew what I saw. But if I confronted her now, she'd just deny it. She'd call me jealous, insecure. She'd make me feel like I was crazy. So I kept my mouth shut. Because if she was cheating, I needed proof. And I was going to get it. If you're not following our channel, you might never see it again. But if you're subscribed and click the bell icon, congratulations. You'll always have access to the most interesting stories whenever you want to watch and listen. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. His hand on her lower back, the way she leaned into him, how she laughed at something he said like they had their own little secret. I should have walked up to them right then and there. Should have called her out. But I didn't. Because if Laura was really cheating, she'd just deny it. She'd say I was being jealous, that I was reading too much into things. She'd make me feel like I was crazy. No, I needed proof. So I played dumb and started setting my trap. Step 1. Playing it cool. The next morning, I acted normal. I kissed her cheek before work, asked about her plans for the day. She didn't seem nervous. No guilt, no hesitation. Just the same fake smile. I started paying more attention. Laura was always on her phone now. If I walked into the room, she'd tilt the screen away. If I asked who she was texting, she'd shrug and say, just work stuff. Triangular flag, red flag number 1. Then I checked our shared laptop. Nothing obvious. No weird messages, no strange searches. But then I pulled up her Google Maps history. Her gym check-ins? All over the place. Some nights, she was there for 3 hours. Other times, only 20 minutes. Triangular flag, red flag number 2. So I started casually asking questions. How was your workout today? Did you see Brandon? She'd answer too quickly, like she had a script. Yeah, it was good. Just did some cardio. Triangular flag, red flag number 3. That was when I knew. It wasn't just in my head. She was hiding something. Step 2. The perfect setup. I needed her to slip up. So I made up a fake work trip. Told her I had to go out of town for a few days. Big conference, super last minute. I even acted annoyed about it, like I didn't want to leave. Laura barely reacted. No, oh, I'll miss you. No, that sucks, babe. Just a casual. When do you leave? Triangular flag, red flag number 4. That was all I needed. The morning of my trip, I packed a bag, kissed her goodbye, and drove off. But I didn't go to the airport. I parked a few blocks away and waited. Step 3. Catching her in the act. 2 hours later, Brandon's car pulled up to our house. Laura came outside, smiling, looking around like she was checking if the coast was clear. Then she let him inside. My stomach twisted into knots, but I stayed calm. I waited. I let them get comfortable. I wanted them to feel safe. And then, when I knew they were deep in their disgusting little fantasy, I walked in. I stood outside my own house, staring at the front door, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might burst out of my chest. Inside, my wife, the woman I had trusted for 11 years, was with Brandon, the gym trainer who thought he was untouchable. I had my phone recording. I had my proof. Now, it was time to end this. The confrontation. I turned the key in the lock and swung the door open. The house was dead silent for half a second, like time itself had frozen, and then chaos. Laura screamed, scrambling to grab the blankets off the bed. Brandon jumped up so fast he almost fell, completely naked, looking like a damn idiot. Ethan, what are you doing here? Laura's voice was shaking. I laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, don't stop on my account. You two seemed like you were having a great time. Brandon grabbed his pants, trying to pull them on while acting tough. Listen, man, this isn't what it looks like. Not what it looks like. I held up my phone, still recording. Oh, really? 'Cause it looks like my wife is sleeping with the guy from the gym. Laura started crying. Ethan, please let me explain. Explain? Explain what? I stepped closer, keeping my voice calm. How long, Laura? She just sobbed. I turned to Brandon. What about you, man? How many married women have you pulled this crap with? He puffed out his chest like he was about to say something smart. I didn't let him. I grabbed him by the collar and shoved him toward the door. Get the F*** out of my house. He didn't even fight it. He grabbed his shoes and ran. Shirtless, humiliated, and half-dressed. Mr. P, the security guard, was outside watching the whole thing, laughing his ass off. Brandon bolted down the street, covering his junk, completely humiliated. Her pathetic excuses. Laura sat on the bed, shaking, tears running down her face. Ethan, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. A mistake? A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This was a choice. I didn't mean to hurt you, she sobbed. I just shook my head. If you didn't mean to hurt me, Laura, you wouldn't have been sneaking around for a year. Her eyes widened. Yeah, I knew. She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. I still love you, she whispered. I let out a cold, bitter laugh. If you loved me, you wouldn't have been I'm the gym trainer the second I wasn't around. She opened her mouth to argue, but I was done. I pulled out my phone, played back the video I had just recorded, and said, this is going straight to my lawyer. Have fun explaining this in court. The fallout. I walked out and never looked back. Within a week, I filed for divorce. Laura tried everything: calls, texts, emails, apologies, promises. Blocked. Brandon lost his job. Turns out, he had a history of messing around with married women, and when his boss saw the footage, he was fired on the spot. And me? I sold the house, took a vacation, hit the gym harder than ever. Not to impress anyone, just for me. And let me tell you, nothing feels better than walking away from someone who never deserved you. Walking away from Laura was easier than I expected. You'd think leaving behind 11 years of marriage would be painful, that I'd sit in an empty apartment, drowning in whiskey, questioning everything. But nope. The moment I walked out of that house, a weight lifted off my chest. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. But Laura's life fell apart. And honestly, I didn't feel bad for her. Not one bit. The pathetic attempts to fix things for the first week after I exposed her, Laura went into full damage control mode. She texted, called, left voicemails. At first, it was apologies. Ethan, please, I made a mistake. I was confused. Can we talk? I need to explain. I swear it didn't mean anything. I never stopped loving you. I ignored everything. Then the text changed. Now, she was angry. I can't believe you just threw away our marriage like this. You're being petty. Everyone makes mistakes. You're not perfect either, Ethan. Stop acting like some innocent victim. Oh, so now it was my fault? Yeah. No. Blocked. But Laura wasn't done. She tried going through my family. My mom called one day, sounding hesitant. Honey, Laura called me. She says she just wants to talk to you. I laughed out loud. Mom, did she also mention that she was screwing the gym trainer in our bed? Silence. Then, a quiet, oh. That was the last time my family entertained her nonsense. Brandon got exactly what he deserved. Brandon, the gym trainer, who wrecked my marriage, thought he got away scot-free. He was wrong. Turns out, my little revenge video made its way to his boss. Apparently, he had a history of messing around with married women at the gym. And when the gym owner saw him half naked, running down the street, humiliated as hell, fired on the spot. Now, he's jobless, broke, and from what I hear, completely ghosted by Laura. Yeah, turns out, she didn't want him without the mystery and sneaking around. The second I left, she realized she traded a loyal husband for a loser with no future. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Laura's new life. Without me after I blocked Laura from my life, she did what every guilty cheater does. She tried to act like she was thriving. She posted fake happy pictures on Instagram, smiling, drinking wine, living her best life. Her captions were straight up hilarious. Sometimes you just have to let go and trust the universe. New beginnings are scary, but also exciting. Self-love is the most important love. Yeah, because banging the gym trainer behind your husband's back is totally self-love. But the cracks started showing. Her fun, carefree posts turned into passive-aggressive quotes about betrayal and people not fighting for love. Then, finally, she disappeared from social media altogether. From what I heard through mutual friends, her life was a mess. She tried dating, but no one took her seriously. She lost friends, because no one wanted to be around a cheater. She tried to get back in shape, but stopped going to the gym, probably because Brandon wasn't there anymore. She thought she could just move on and everything would be fine, but she lost everything. And me? I was better than ever. My new life without her. The first thing I did after the divorce papers were signed? Booked a trip, took 2 weeks off work, flew to Italy, and just lived. Drank wine by the coast, ate amazing food, hit the gym harder than ever. I felt like myself again. When I got back, I moved into a new apartment, got rid of everything that reminded me of her. And you know what? I thrived. I got in the best shape of my life. Not to impress anyone, just for me. I started going out again, meeting people, actually living. And let me tell you, nothing feels better than walking away from someone who never deserved you. What do you think? Would you have handled it differently? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because no one deserves to be played like this. It had been 6 months since I walked out of that house and left Laura sitting on the bed, wrapped in a blanket, sobbing. 6 months since I exposed her and Brandon for the lying, cheating losers they were. 6 months, and my life had never been better. Laura, on the other hand, her life was falling apart piece by piece, and I got a front row seat to watch it happen. She thought I'd come crawling back at first. Laura believed I was just angry and needed time to cool off. She thought I'd miss her, get lonely, start reminiscing about the good times. So, 2 months after the divorce papers were served, she tried reaching out again. This time, she used a different number since I had her old one blocked. Her message? A pathetic attempt to manipulate me. Laura. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I just wanted to say I'm thinking about you. I miss you, Ethan. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at the message for 5 seconds. Then I deleted it. No response. No reaction. Let her sit with that. A week later, she tried again. Laura, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I just wish we could talk. Maybe meet up? Closure, you know? Closure? Oh, I got my closure the moment I walked into my house and caught her on all fours with the gym trainer. So, once again, deleted, blocked. And you know what happened next? She lost her damn mind. The breakdown begins since Laura couldn't get to me directly. She started desperately reaching out to mutual friends. She played the victim. Ethan won't even talk to me. I just want to apologize, and he won't even give me that. I made one mistake, and he threw away our entire marriage. I don't deserve this kind of punishment. Oh, so now she was the one being punished? Not once did she admit what she actually did. She just made it sound like I was being cruel for cutting her off. Luckily, most of our friends knew the truth, because I had zero shame in telling them exactly what went down. One of my buddies even laughed in her face when she tried to gain sympathy. Laura, you didn't just make a mistake. You cheated for an entire ****ing year. What the hell did you expect? After that, people started distancing themselves from her. Because let's be real, nobody wants to be friends with a cheater. Brandon turned out to be a loser. Shocking, right? You want to hear the funniest part of all this? The second I was out of the picture, Laura actually tried to date Brandon. She really thought they'd just ride off into the sunset together. But here's the thing about cheaters, they don't change. And Laura learned that the hard way. A few months into their relationship, Brandon cheated on her with some new girl from the gym. Karma works fast. Laura was devastated. And I only found out because one of our old mutual friends sent me a screenshot of her sad little Facebook post. It was some depressing quote about people who betray your trust and how she was learning to heal. Oh, so now betrayal hurts, huh? Guess it's not so fun when you're on the other side of it. Her life became a mess after the whole Brandon disaster. Laura went into full meltdown mode. She quit going to the gym. She stopped posting happy, single life pictures. She tried getting back into the dating scene, but let's be real. Nobody wants to seriously date a known cheater. And then, she lost her job. Apparently, she had been so distracted spiraling over her failed relationship that she started messing up at work. Missed deadlines, bad attitude, unprofessional behavior. Eventually, her boss had enough and let her go. Now, she was jobless, single, and completely alone. And me? I was thriving. My revenge was just moving on. People always talk about revenge like it has to be some big dramatic act. Like I needed to slash her tires or expose her in front of the world. But honestly, the best revenge was just living my best life while she fell apart. I moved into a new apartment, upgraded my car, and started traveling more. I met new people, focused on my career, and hit the gym harder than ever. And every now and then, I'd hear little updates about Laura through mutual friends. Every update was worse than the last. And I won't lie, it felt damn good. Final thoughts: I'm not going to sit here and say that cheating didn't hurt. It did. But looking back now, I realize Laura did me a favor. She showed me exactly who she was. And because of that, I got to walk away and build a better life without her. So if you're reading this and you've been cheated on, just know that one day, you'll look back and realize that losing them was the best thing that ever happened to you. And when that day comes, you'll smile, just like I'm smiling now.